Hello. Deep breath. Episode 123. Wow, time is flying. It is May 3rd. My tree has bloomed. I am happy. Just got back from a super busy day. On today's episode, which it's gonna be just a grab bag. It's gonna be a lot of different topics, some boom boom firing, some musings on life, some interesting things. It's gonna be a hodgepodge. It is the potpourri of Jeopardy topics. So on today's episode, like I said, let's just dive in. Let's just have fun. Let's just talk. The Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett, 94-year-old Warren Buffett, has announced either today or yesterday, or roughly nowadays, roughly breaking news that he is stepping down. Obviously, you don't need to be a financial guru to have heard of Warren Buffett. He is sort of the self-deprecating, beloved 94-year-old man who was at the helm of a $1 trillion company. Outside of tech, there are no other $1 trillion portfolios. So obviously, he comes from Nebraska. That's the Omaha, from the Oracle of Omaha. He is immensely popular. He comes from investment bankers. His father, Howard, was an investment banker. Basically, he's one of those, he appears to be, and obviously, like, we don't know him. I don't know him. He has enjoyed an immense financial success. He sort of has that middle American common sense kind of folkism, kind of that Minnesota nice kind of charm. Modest lifestyle. I think he lives in a home that's, it's not worth even, I don't think, $1 million. It's a nice home. It's a fine home. It fits him and his I think most of his siblings, his children have moved to do their own thing. He is 94 years old after all. So I would say he's very admired. I think that his value add, his rating in terms of like him or hate him, I think he's well liked. It's a diverse holdings. Berkshire Hathaway, although Apple, American Express, and Bank of America are really high. Especially Apple at 22.7%. Like I said, he gives a lot of money to charities. He seems to be for the immense amount of wealth. He's not jet setting across the world in his own personal jet and buying Lamborghinis. He talks about common sense investing. He talks about investing in things that tactile, things that you can feel, taste, touch. He likes tech companies that have a track record of value and of giving back in terms of dividends. And so I don't know a lot. When I was more into finance, I kind of followed Warren Buffett a little more. I'm glad that at 94 he's stepping down and maybe spending a little more time with his family. I don't anticipate him living to be 120 years old. So I think famously he drinks a lot of Diet Coke. I don't know a lot about the guy, but from what I understand, I've enjoyed reading about him and learning about sort of his investment tactics. So maybe I will take some time and do a little more digging. But first story today is Warren Buffett is stepping down. All right, next topic. We're just gonna spitfire through these. Swearing in F1. I was listening to NPR or something, and they had a big story about F1, which is the most prestigious Formula One racing. It's Max Verstappen. It's Ferrari and Red Bull and Mercedes-Benz. It's the big leagues. There's been a financial crackdown. The whip has been whipped about people swearing, whether it's on these sort of hot mics that they have in the cockpit, or the radio communications with the pit crew team. Apparently, the worst thing in the world is to hear swears that are censored too, by the way. Like, very few live F-bombs make it. I think it's much ado about nothing. The drivers just seem to be frustrated, and they are pushing the edge, literally. Their lives are hanging by the balance. So, a loose rear derailleur or a car that's not performing well, they're going to swear. They're very passionate. The winning in, first place and fifth place is 2-second difference. It's a very dangerous job. These guys are just super dedicated. They're doing something that's super dangerous, and emotions are going to flare. And it seems weird that F1 is just so adamant that they need to just the complete cessation of swearing. So it's a story that I'll follow a little bit, but it's one of those things where you just read the headline and say, is there nothing else to talk about? And so that's number 2. The fun fact of the day. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention this. Kentucky Derby, which it's 6:15 p.m. here. I don't know if it's already happened. It's not something I follow closely. Every horse in the race, it can trace their lineage back to Secretariat. So at some point in time, they are a direct sire of Secretariat, who obviously is probably the most, him and Seabiscuit are the 2 most famous horses in the world. Just goes to show you that your average horse, just the genetic makeup of that individual, even if they trained their absolute rear end off, would not have the physicality and the makeup and the muscle structure to compete at that highest level. I mean, these horses are basically pushed to the edge of their heart exploding. Because one thing I listened to a podcast where, this is a little tangential, but there are races in the world where human beings race horses over long distances. Because what happens when you race a horse is humans are phenomenal at sweating and releasing the buildup of heat. We are great sweater. We have good sweat. We sweat easily. We have many pores. You watch any runner over long distances. I mean, they are just, water is just pouring off them. Horses have a very viscous, thicker sweat, and at some point, a horse actually has to stop because it cannot release the heat buildup because of the very viscous sweat. It kind of gets stuck to the hair, and so the idea is when you race a horse over 50 miles, you just incrementally keep yourself within striking distance, and then when the horse stops for long enough, you can just sort of gradually beat it. And so, long story short, these horses that are pushed to do the 2.5 miles or whatever in like something like crazy, like under 2 minutes or something. I mean, the horses are fast. What was I going with this? Oh yeah, Secretariat's structure and the genetic makeup of what he was able to do. It just goes to show you that it matters. It matters probably more. I mean, most famously, the biggest indicator of you being an Olympic athlete is if your parents were an Olympic athlete because, well, there's more to that than that. There's training and money, but also just genetics, right? So I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, horse racing, Secretariat, everyone's related. It's a small family of, at the top of the 1%, it's going to be people, horses, who can trace their lineage back to Secretariat. Okay, another crazy topic. Just had some Pizza Hut stuffed crust. I love stuffed crust. I like it less as I age. I still find the crust enjoyable. I like the stuffed crust. I like that buttery Pizza Hut crust. But the boneless chicken wings. They're adult chicken nuggets. They're still delicious, but they are not they're different than chicken wings. And I think that we have to think about them as a different product. I like them. I like a good thick barbecue base on a boneless chicken wing. But one, it's not a wing. It's a conglomeration of rib meat and thigh meat and who else knows what's going on. And it's fried and it's delicious. But it is very different from getting 10 chicken wings with the bones and the grit and the gristle and all the flavors that come from beyond just the actual muscle. So let's get that straight. Boneless chicken wings are just adult chicken nuggets. You can think them whatever you want. You can think about them, but that's what they are. Okay. Also, hand dryers. These like hyper accelerator hand dryers. What an unpleasant product. What an unpleasant feeling. You know, you wash your hands in a public bathroom and yeah, you have some suds and you have some water and you want it off your hands. And the best option that they're providing you is just like this really high-powered, not warm air that just sort of smushes the water and suds to your skin. You know, does anyone actually make it through a full cycle before just saying this is worthless and just wiping their hands, like just doing the last 10%, 20% of the water onto your shirt? I just think that these like high-end, fast, cool Mercedes-Benz hair dryers, basically I meant just like a nice model. It's a terrible experience. I know paper towels are the worst and they're not reusable and they just clog landfills. But, I mean, blow hand dryers are very unpleasant. I mean, am I wrong here? Am I just like, I think I'm right. They're unpleasant. Nothing about the experience feels good. The air is not hot enough to dry your hands, and if it was hot to dry your hands, you'd probably have very dry skin after. You feel very lizardy, very parched. Just not good. Just not good at all. Okay, my last topic is I gotta do more research, but Grand Theft Auto, like beloved, open world, like violent, just kind of do side missions and just cause mayhem. Like I think that they're on like Grand Theft Auto 6 or 5 or something, but it's been delayed and delayed and delayed, and like the budgeting is ballooned to billions of dollars that they have to sell just to recoup the lot, just to get back into like net zero here. I know that like the Grand Theft Auto and the Call of Duty, like the prestige AAA titles, are very expensive and very hard to make, requiring thousands of hours of overtime and employees grumbling and quitting because they're just oppressed, frankly, and just terrible. Just it's a terrible environment. But I don't know what the deal with Grand Theft Auto is. It's like it's good, but also it's like you go around and shooting people and stealing cars and just like open world side missions, exploration. I don't know what the draw is, but like people are losing their minds over it being delayed and delayed and delayed. And I'm sure like the budget is bloated to no end, and I'm sure that there's going to be a whole story, a bevy of stories coming out about what it took to create this. I know a lot of work goes into the prestige, like I said, the best games that are trying to make billions of dollars and fund the next several projects of the games that aren't quite as big in these studios. But I don't know what the appeal of Grand Theft Auto is. Maybe I'm missing out on something. And like YouTube and all these videos are just like people driving cars through crazy obstacles and sort of like a god mode, like a sandbox kind of experience. I don't know. I'm just ranting, I guess. But anyway, there was 3 stories in there somewhere. It's been a day. Tomorrow I got a half marathon. Looking forward to that. Was able to volunteer a little bit downtown and get people checked in. So I'm gonna rest up a little bit. Had some soccer games, and I will get back to you tomorrow. I will tell you all about it, and I will also talk about Free Comic Book Day, which, as I'm wrapping this up, I realized was my first topic, and I just never got to it. So I went, I came, I saw, I conquered, Veni Vidi Vici, and that will be tomorrow's episode. Good night, y'all. Good night.